So much love, everyone. Happy Wednesday. So much love to all of you, as it's been a while since I've been live for a while. Hi, Demetrius. Big love. And I just finished dear sacred brother Fidel. And I wanted to come live because I wanted to share a little bit about 10 years ago this week, what had taken place as I woke up this morning, remembering what was happening. And it was just so intense, just as it's been with so many of us during our ascension. Hi, Monica. Good morning. So I want to just backtrack to this because this is right before the super eclipse 10 years ago. It happened to be the eclipse as well as summer solstice. Let me just plug my charger in 1 minute as this is about to go out. Moment, everyone. As you're joining, there you go. So here we go. Hello, Brett. Thanks for joining. So 10 years ago this week, hi, Melissa. Let me see who else is joining. 10 years ago this week, I'm just going to walk you through what happened. My son's birthday is on summer solstice. He's born June 20th. So his birthday was coming up and he was turning 7. Right within this week also is when Abraham Hicks came into my experience. I want to tell you how this happened because it was just so crazy, wild with experiences. The week before that, I was in, hello, Svetlana. The week before that, I was in Vegas, Los Angeles and Vegas. I had met, so during that time, I had my full center, my holistic wellness, eco-conscious center that I had created. It was the first one in the USA that had received the seal of approval as a socially responsible green company by Green America. So it was a holistic wellness center and Medi Spa, and everything was organic, toxic free from product line. I'd created this first to bring to the education and awareness what you put on your skin, how it affects your health, and how's your footprint with earth, and how it affects the livelihood on earth and also your spiritual wellness. And as a result of it, I had also created my entire 350 product line, from aromatherapy line, which the formulator was Mikael Zayat, as well as my makeup line, all toxic vegan, toxin-free, vegan, no chemicals, personal care, teas, as well as raw, sacred, vegan, chakra chocolates. I mean, it was a whole line. And I had 8 women on my product line where this project was put together, and so working with International Lifeline Fund to help support the Women Project in 4 countries in Africa. So I was very, very involved, as well as being a speaker at that time, speaking about, what goes on in your body, how it affects your health, how it affects your family, how it affects earth. And so a lot was happening around there, around what I had awoken to about 10 years earlier from the birth of my son. Anyway, having said that, so let me just go through what was happening a few days earlier within this week. I was in Los Angeles and I'd flown to Vegas to meet with my formulator for my cosmetic line. So when my cosmetic line, we'll go through the shades and the color palettes that we wanted to put out in the market for, like, let's say the eyeshadows or the blushes and what have you. And everything was super clean, like super, super clean. It was only formulated with 4 ingredients, and all the pigments was from earthly material to just bring the cleanest vibration products and everything was handmade as well. So I'd met with my formulator, and what happened was, in this meeting that I had flown just to go over the color palette, so this is a few days before this Wednesday where I was 10 years ago, this is what was happening. So I'd met with her, and and it was her and I. So she brought, I wanted to create a special thing for little girls because I also had the little girls line. So she brought this sort of like gel substance for me to see. And when I saw it, it was totally clear, but there was something of a spark was in there, like almost like a glitter. And when I looked at it, all I know is my head went back, my eyes rolled back, my consciousness went up, and I started seeing these golden blocks coming in, just coming in, and I started like shivering, shaking, and it looked like I was going into a seizure, and my mouth started moving like this, and my formulator had no idea what was happening, and all I heard with this giant voice saying that I will close my center and I'll serve planetary. That was it. I had no freaking idea what was happening to me. So I dropped onto the floor. All I saw was these golden blocks, kind of like Tetris game, coming down, and just very much looked like I was in seizure. So she didn't know what was happening. She was so scared, wondering to call ambulance or not. So I laid there for a while. I couldn't talk. So for the next 2 days, I couldn't talk. I barely could walk. I couldn't get a word out. All I knew is I knew the voice. So this is all before I even died. 2 years later, I died. So I pick up the phone. It was Monday. I pick up the phone and I call my husband then, because I was flying in. I said, I have to close the center. I have to shut everything down. He's like, what? I said, I can't explain it. I heard a voice. He's like, what do you mean? Whose voice? I said, I can't tell you what happened. I heard the voice. I have to shut everything down. So I flew in from California. I came in. So again, this was 10 years ago this week, last week. So I come in, imagine I have a contract with the lease where my center was. I have my entire product. I have scheduled paid speaker events. My life is so filled. So I come in and I just said, I can't deny the voice that I heard said, you will shut everything down. It was so powerful. I didn't even know whose voice it was. And something about planetary, I had no idea what that was either. So anyway, having said this, so I flew back in on a Wednesday. I go to my center Saturday. I have full schedule clients set up. So on Saturday, the building that I was in was closed. So only with scheduled appointment, we can give them the key to come into the building. So I want to lay this out for you. So imagine 10 years ago, this past Saturday to the eclipse, which is this coming Saturday, this window period. So I go to my office and we're busy making tea with my assistant manager at my center. So I'm getting everything ready because I have a full schedule with clients. And in the meantime, I haven't talked to anybody. I haven't told a single soul other than my former spouse, not even my mother, just my brother, what happened, because he was with me. And I haven't even talked to the landlord at the center that I was in Washington, D.C., that I received this. I'm going to have to shut everything down. So I go and it's 10 in the morning. My schedule starts at 10:30. We're organizing, putting the candles on as always, and making the tea ready. And a lady walks in. It's an African American lady, short, and she comes in quietly. And I go up to her. I was like, "Hello, can I help you?" And so she looks around. I said, "She's like, are you HoniB, Honey Borden?" I said, "Yes, I am." And she said, okay, this is your center. I said, yes. So very eerie. Nobody walks in that space without having the code to come into the building. So here comes this lady on a Saturday morning. I have a full schedule. I don't know what on earth is going on. And so she looks around. She said, I'm in the right place. I said, okay, well, welcome. What can I do for you? She said, I've come to maybe set up an appointment. I said, okay, but my schedule is really filled. I can't even schedule anywhere. I'm 4 weeks booked behind. Maybe in 4 weeks I can schedule. She said, no. She said, no. I said, okay, what kind of schedule, what are you looking for? So let me also tell you, up until this time, I'm having a lot of out-of-body experiences. I'm having all kinds of things taking place, and I haven't really shared it with anybody. Just my Reiki master teacher, Suchinta, just briefly had shared with her, but I'm having a lot of experiences at that time. So she said, can I talk to you privately? I said, okay. So we step on the side. My assistant is kind of watching. She's kind of eerie, like what's going on. And so she looks at me dead in my eyes, and she says to me, my child, do you know why I'm here? And I got jolted back. My child, what is this? His voice is coming in. The voice changed. And as I'm telling you, I still have chills. And I looked at her. I was like, no, I don't know why you're here. So she said, I was told to find you. I said, told? Who told you to find me? She said, they told me to find you. I said, who's they? She said, they that spoke to you. And I was like, at that time, I was like, what are you talking about, lady? So I got like a little bit sort of like eerie and scared a little bit, because I was like, I didn't know what she was talking about. And meanwhile, I've just come out of this experience. I haven't told a soul. So she said, you are embarking on a planetary service, and I was told to find you. I go to places where the planetary healers, and I deliver message to them. So I said, how do you know? She's like, you're about to close this place, and you're going to be hitting the road. You're going to be serving the grids. I was like, what? I was like, how do you know? Who told you? Who told you? She said, I can't tell you anymore, other than you know what you have to do. I said, I know what I have to do. I was like by that time I was shaking. So she said, I will see you next week, and I'm going to deliver something to you. My heart dropped. She walked out. I was shaking, shivering. I had no idea what was happening. My assistant didn't even know. Nobody, I had not told a soul. So then I went on about doing my sessions that day. And I was shaking. By the end of the day, I called my Reiki master teacher. I told her what happened. I was like, listen, I don't know what just happened. I've entered a new space. I don't know how this person found me. The voice, how did the voice that talked to me knew the voice of her for her to find me, to confirm this with me? I was like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm totally freaked out. So again, this was 10 years ago, 10 years ago this week, Saturday. So now we're Wednesday. So she said, calm down, things happen, don't worry. I was like, I'm having too many experiences, and I'm starting to get very uncomfortable, which I feel some of you may resonate. So a couple of days go by, and again, I had two assistants. I hadn't told them. I knew I had to talk to the landlord of the place I had rented my space, and I didn't want to say anything to them. So the lady scheduled an appointment with me Saturday the week, and I just said in my heart, and I was like, I don't want to schedule anything with her. If she has a message from higher, she can just tell me. So, and I knew solstice eclipse was coming up 10 years ago, and it was my son's birthday. I'd already scheduled a birthday party. At that 10 years ago, it fell on a Sunday. One of my best friends was coming down from New Jersey with her two sons, spending the night. So these next few days go by. Meanwhile, I am just trying to put things together. So Saturday morning comes, I have a full schedule, and the next day is summer solstice with the eclipse, and I have a birthday party for the office, and I'm getting ready to take care of everything. So I see in my monitor, in my room, I had a monitor that showed a camera who's coming into the waiting room. So I see the lady walk in, the same lady that had come in the week after. Meanwhile, I told her I didn't want anything. So she has packaged something and drops it at my assistant's desk, and she leaves. So meanwhile, I start shaking again. I didn't know what she had dropped off. I was very freaked out. So I'm working on my best friend, doing some healing work on her. I come out and my assistant's like, honey, the lady dropped the stuff. So it's a little kind of like small, something packaged up. And I finish all my sessions, and we go home, and I take the thing and I put it in my, so at that time I had a lab where I would make the products. I put it there. I was like, I refuse to touch it. So my friend's like, are you going to look at it? I said, no. My former spouse is like, are you going to open it? I said, no. So we all go to sleep because I'm focused for my son's birthday party, turning 7. All these kids are coming in. We were at our big house back then. So 5 a.m, something wakes me up and tells me to go into the kitchen. I kid you not, everybody's sleeping on a Sunday. I go in the kitchen and I see one of my crystal dishes that I would put the fruits and stuff in, was perfectly at a circle cut off. So imagine the dish is like this. There's no base of it. It's completely disconnected. So I had it. Let me bring in something to so you can get a visual of what I'm saying. So imagine in the kitchen counter, this being a crystal bowl dish, right? It was sitting on my crystal cannon, and this part of it, perfect circle, was cut off. It was sitting, and so it was 2 pieces. And I looked at it. I didn't know what on earth that was, and all the hair on my skin stood up, and something told me, go open that present. So I went downstairs to my lab, and I opened it, and I saw it was a CD, and the CD said, Abraham Hicks, The Art of Living. I was like, what's that? Who's Abraham Hicks? What's Art of Living? And then I saw a note from the lady, and the lady said, I was told by Abraham to find you because you are going to need this help for your planetary work. There's so much love that is around you and supports you. And I just started bawling. I didn't know who Abraham was. I didn't know who Jerry Hicks was. I didn't know anything. All I know, it was the morning of eclipse, solstice. I was shaking with what I'd seen, and my hair was like this. So moving forward that day, I had the birthday party for my son. It was so much fun. And there were like 11 kids had come. And one of the kids had gone to the bathroom in the main floor. We had 3 floors and a big, like 4,500 square foot house. So one of the kids had gone to the main bathroom, and he had flushed the toilet, but for some reason, the toilet did not flush. The water started coming. So all the kids are like screaming, yelling, poo-poo water is coming, poo-poo water is coming. Oh my goodness, there was so much water that came from the toilet. Suddenly we heard in our basement, we had a big basement, water is coming from the ceiling. Everybody, all the kids are yelling, screaming. We're trying to move all the presents, like move the furniture, grab bowls, buckets, go downstairs. And we hear, I'm doing a live, it's okay. And we're trying to put buckets because water is coming. And I kid you not, about a couple hours later, no matter we'd closed the thing for however the toilet was overflowing, it wouldn't stop, to a point where the ceiling of our basement fell down, like literally came down. Our entire basement got flooded on the eclipse solstice 10 years ago while all of this happened. And here I was with this CD of Abraham Hicks. I had no clue who it was. I didn't know what happened. So let's just say for 6 months, our basement was a disaster till they came fixes. Meantime, this is the summer solstice. So the very next thing that happens after this, I knew I had to close, but I didn't know close. I just closed my entire center with no other thought because of just this one word I had heard that I didn't even know who was talking to me. Next thing I knew, somehow somebody told, I out of nowhere, I get this thing that there's this gathering in DC for something of light. And meanwhile, I had done my Reiki training, my Reiki master training privately with a teacher. And so I somehow, something tells me to just drive to here. I didn't want to drive. And I go, it's the evening gathering introduction to reconnective healing. I'm like, I don't even know what this is. I don't want to go here. This is all. So this is 2 days after this, the eclipse solstice. All I know is as I'm going in, I'm the last person that come in, and I see this guy coming, and later I learn it's Eric Pearl, and him and I lock eyes, and I go sit in that room, and all I experience is I see those blocks that I had seen the week before start coming into me, going out of my hands. I didn't know what was happening. And I couldn't explain anything. It was like a complete insanity during that time. So I ended up the following week doing the training and for reconnective healing. And then later on, even for reconnection. This is 10 years ago. And so this being June 10 years ago, August, I shut everything off. And I managed to find enough courage to go just tell the landlord, like, I heard a voice. I can't explain. I have to shut everything off. My clients were so upset. Everybody was so upset. They thought I'd absolutely lost it. And here I was. I didn't even know what to do from this point. Every single day I played that CD, The Art of Living with Abraham Hicks. I didn't know who it was. Fast forward, so this was 2010. So I moved to 2011. 2011, I had a mystical experience where I woke up one morning, again, 5 a.m, and I heard the same voice say, it's time to share your story. And like I didn't even know what was happening to me. I went downstairs and I sat on my laptop and I started typing, and I was transported back to almost 30 years before, when I was 7 in a fatal car crash that I'd never talked about. I never fully even discussed what happened in the fatal car crash with my mother and father and the people that died. So my hands went on the keyboard and I started typing. 3 hours later, this whole book was written. I never wanted to write a book. I wanted nothing to do with it. So on 11/11/11, my book was published. But before that, the May of my birthday of 9 years ago, I went to Abraham Hicks finally gathering in Bethesda. And the night before it, that same voice told me I would go on the third, I would be the third person picked to go on the hot chair and to wear what I was supposed to wear. So I did exactly that. And I went to the big 600 people gathering in Bethesda. And I went to meet Abraham Hicks, to thank Abraham for coming into my life. And the beginning of my book was dedicated in gratitude to Abraham Hicks for the way he came into my life and a couple of months. So I wore exactly what the voice told me to wear, and I waited. So the first person went on the hot chair, and then the second person was called to the hot chair, and the third one, it was so incredible that just when it came to the hot chair, people raised their hands, and I was behind this the projected light they had. There was nowhere Esther Hicks could see me because it's blinding. My hand was up, and the voice said, "It will be you." And she looked, and she's like, "You behind the light." So exactly what happened. And I walked up, and I remember walking up, my whole system was vibrating like this until I sat on the chair. And unlike everybody else that sits on the chair to talk about problem, I went and sat to say, "Thank you, Abraham. Thank you for the way you came into my life. Thank you for the message you brought. I don't know what the planetary work is that you have said, but I shut everything down. Like, I'm listening, and here's the book. I finally wrote the book the day I became a superhero. It will be published on 11/11/11 with the I Can Do It conference, and the message is out, and it was such an incredible experience. And it was from there that my channeling with the masters began. Channeling many different entities, many different beings, and learning how to be an incorporated channel. So why I'm sharing this with you, because I woke up this morning and I was saying to Michael, I was like, "Oh my goddess, Michael, do you know what happened this week 10 years ago?" As we're getting ready to go into this summer solstice Saturday, it's my son's birthday. He turns 17. He's the one that's going to be living with Michael and I. We haven't found our house yet. Yet the magic of the beautiful moth. Let me show you. Look, some of you that saw the moth that appeared in front of our house, our apartment, and that's the money tree that I had in my center. So when I opened my center 2006, this thing was this big, and it's been here with me. It's my baby. So this lunar moth landed in front of our door, came in, and was on the money tree, and she transitioned. It's, I mean, complete mystical experience. So I know this week Michael and I are in the midst of this mystical experience. I can feel it. We can see what's happening, especially last night with our amazing Tuesday night silent meditation we had. And I haven't come live for a while, and especially the message yesterday I put that I'm choosing, like, I've gone through so much this past 2 weeks, especially everything that has had to take place with finding a home, meeting the disappointments, meeting everything within COVID and afterwards, and us trying to find a home and going through, I mean, so much, being planetary workers, serving our divine mission, trying to find a home. We don't have the papers, and yet we're spiritual teachers. We receive gift offering, having the co-signers, bringing this vibration to the extreme 3D, like extreme 3D, and expanding it, meeting real estate agents that are just like, wow, they want to take part in our meditation. They want to come to our circle, meeting a potential landlord of this house that we wanted, who's a loan officer, who's very impressed with what we're doing. So it's been amazing to bring this vibration to such dense consciousness and expanding ourselves so much, and then meeting with this the very, very density of the gang members who had moved to the building next door that caused all of those problems, yet we brought so much light and love into it, where the property management has shifted things around. Now everything is more clear. So Michael and I fully recognizing how important it is that these streaming light has to come to all these dense areas, and that's our job, to stay here. And that's why I made a post yesterday. It doesn't matter, like, to my Democrat and Republican friends, to my anonymous and QAnon friends, to Jewish, Christian, Buddhist, Muslim friends, to gay, lesbian, heterosexual, transgender, binary friends, all of them. I'm just going to focus on loving you. I cannot, at all anymore give my attention anywhere else just than this light that is here, that has to come to all these areas, which is the focus of its expansion. And the summer solstice really communicates. This 3 day that we're about to go into, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, is just the full expression of its light. And what is the full expression of its light? To bring it through all these densities. So if you're supporting the density, we're not bringing the light. We got to come into the density and bring the light in. And that's really the gift of this now. So yesterday when I made that post, and then we did our, Michael, if you want, you can say something here. And when we did the Tuesday night meditation, it was so amazing. And 2 nights ago, I had a dream. I called in the angels. And I saw these stairs, these golden stairs appear in the sky. And I was walking on them. And there was this beautiful bright light. And I was going towards the bright light. I kept walking up these stairs. It felt like the heavenly stairs. And I was just walking, going towards the light. And I felt like, wow. So here's Venus, after 8 years, is coming back. This Venus journey has taken place. And here I am 10 years later in this same week where so much mystical things happened that I couldn't even put into words. And exactly, the planetary things happen. And I did die. It required me to die in 2012, January 8th, to then fully give all of it up. Give everything up and move to the unknown for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years on the road, and then to start anchoring back in Washington, D.C., and together with my beloved, and then now my son joining us, which I cannot wait. So I just felt to come on, as I haven't been live here for a little while. So much has been happening, and I feel like I've been stretched and pulled in so many particles, and I'm choosing to stay here no matter what. Michael and I had a beautiful experience. We went to eat and we were sitting outside, and there was a man with a bunch of children with his families, and it was so beautiful. We started talking, and he happened to mention how he's a major vaccine supporter, and he had just met with Fauci. And Michael and I just had a conversation with him, and I was like, wow, look, this is so beautiful. I can just be right here. I am major anti-vaccine, but I can just have this beautiful heart communication with this man, with Michael, and not be triggered. Isn't that the true victory? And I was able to have conversation with hardcore Trump supporter, and just be right here. Hardcore Hillary supporter. Stay right here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to stay right here and choose love. Too many friends are, they're where they are. And I know my call is to bring the golden age of enlightenment, of love, and this illumination. And I just accept anybody wherever they are. I'm going to stay right here, raise above all of it, raise above gender, sex, identity, all of those, and stay above it all, because that's what it's been called. So I love you all. I just had to share this with you, with what happened 10 years ago. Here's 10 years later. We are going to have a beautiful celebration for my son his birthday. It's going to be amazing, and I cannot wait for that. And we're so excited to have an extension here in our beautiful sanctuary for one more month till we get to the exact right location. We have our beautiful, look, our daily altar for our home, and we're going to be readjusting the altar today for that frequency, for the right divine alignment home that is already taking place in the higher place, dropping into this place in this now. And it's so beautiful for us to reflect where we've been. Today for me was the week of 10 years ago, what happened and everything after that, and the courage of giving everything up just by the voice that I heard. And how many times we've been in that position. And we let everybody be where they are, and we just continue to answer the call I am. So I love you all. Thank you so much for joining. I'd missed you all so much. So beautiful to visit you, and let me see. Some Magdalene kiss roses for all of you. And have a magical, mystical day. I just had to come on. Abraham Hicks did so much for me. For 2 years, every single day, I listened to that CD that woman had given me. And from there, everything else opened. And for those of you that may know, 2018 was dedicated to just channeling the masters. Channeling, I mean, the amount of transcript we have with these masters coming through me took a long time to be able to get into an incorporated channel state, as an incorporation, letting the full presence enter into me, where I can completely step on the side and let them speak through me. It's been an honor, and it's continuously evolving. Then the last year and a half to just light code transmission activations in the activation of the crystalline diamond light body for individuals, personal and planetary ascension, so they can deliver the golden age. Here we are in 2020. It's all about the golden age. So it's been a kick-ass. And we're together. Love you all so much. Have a beautiful, blessed day. So much love and respect for our journey. Maybe just deep within ourselves rather than where others are, to feel the love, compassion, and the celebration of all those doors that we opened and we went through and we said yes. And where we are today, and where we're going even further. Much respect, much respect, much respect. Aho, everyone.